Hi guys, what is up? This is Sqamemal here, and today I am doing a tutorial on Blender. So if you guys don't know, Blender is a 3D modeling software which can be used for various purposes. Here is the website of Blender. So the latest version is 2.76b, and there's a test version 2.77, which is given over here. This is the website blender.org, and well, you can just click on this to download and check what's new, the older version, stuff like that. Now and here you've got some features: photorealistic rendering, fast modeling, realistic, fast rigging, animation, blah blah blah. So but today I'm actually going to show you the somewhat like the basics of this whole Blender software, and not exactly 3D modeling, but just 3D modeling for Blender. Now this is not the only place you can download Blender from. You can also download it from the Steam page of Blender, which is over here. They've even got a video here. Cool video. It's for free, actually. I forgot to mention that it's free, and I think it's open source too. So you can, I think, you might have a GitHub or something. Like, you can make your own plugins and stuff for Blender. And what do they have in the store? So, oh, the store has t-shirts and books and stuff like that. There it's swag, open movies, training, books, card, checkout, etc. So, alright. Now, let me just go right back into... Okay, so let me just launch this. Yeah, so I'm just launching it from Steam, or you can go to your library and it'll be there in the software section, like this. So now I've already launched it, and let me just close this. So before you actually go right into the modeling, you should know some of the basics and some of the prerequisites. You would definitely need a mouse for almost any kind of rendering and stuff like that. Not rendering, 3D modeling and stuff like that. Okay, so I've got my mouse ready with me, and now this is how it's gonna look once it's open. And once you open it, you won't see these trees and stuff, but what you can do is just click outside like this, and so this is what you see. So this is the default file that opens up. So the first thing you'll see is this cube, which is already selected. You'll see something like this in the top right or something. It's a light point. This is a camera over here. So by default this cube is selected, so the first thing you'd actually want to do is deselect this cube. So how would you deselect that? You would just have to press A, and it's deselected. So, and if you press A again, you would actually select everything. Now just give me a minute over here. Let me just I forgot about this. Alright, so once again, now I have actually put on screencast so you can see this, but I've also got my camera recording everything so that you guys don't miss any detail. So once again, A to select. Now you've deselected everything. A to select everything. A to deselect everything. Now for selecting stuff, selecting only one thing at a time, you have to right click and not left click, which is really messed up. But anyways, so just right click on this cube. As you can see, the mouse, the right click of the mouse glowed up, and plus it's on the camera anyways. So right click this to select the cube, right click that on that to select the light point, right click. What happened? yeah, right click here to select the camera. So now what do we do? So okay, so now I'll teach you how to rotate your camera. So if you want to rotate your camera, because obviously this is not the only, I mean this is probably the worst angle to start modeling with. So if you want to rotate your camera, press the middle mouse button over here. Sorry, not over here, but just press the middle mouse button, press and hold, and then start moving your camera, your hand in the direction you'd want to move your camera, like this. See? Well, you might not be able to make much of a difference on the camera, which I have, which you can see over here, because it's a very little movement. But as you can see over here, my middle mouse is selected, it's moving, and yeah, so that's how you move, like that, left and right. If you want to move upwards, you just have to do the same thing, but by pulling down on your mouse. And if you want to move downwards, pull up on the mouse. That's it. You now know basic movement of cameras in this in Blender. Yeah, forgetting everything. Okay, so there are many other camera angles, predefined camera angles actually, which will be on your numpad over here. You can just look at the camera part. So but for this, most laptops might not have this part. Actually, it'll just be this much. So if you don't have a laptop which has this, you might have to redefine some keys, which I won't be showing in this tutorial. So now you're actually supposed to do it on the numpad. Okay, so this is my numpad for the laptop. 7. See, it says numpad 7, 8, 5, 2, 3, 5, and look at how it keeps moving. So 4 and 6 are to move sideways, 8 is to move upwards like this, 2 is to move downwards, 1 is to, okay, 1, 7 and 9 are like predefined, and even 5. It's almost like they're predefined. And if you look over here, it's gonna keep changing some stuff like this. Friend, right, user perspective. Okay, so this is, I think we're back on our default. Okay, so user perspective is our default stuff now. Okay, so now once you've got that camera movement and stuff done, I will be showing you how to move an object. So you have selected this object, the cube. Now if you want to move it, you can move it along the x-axis by left clicking on that red arrow and moving it here, or this way, but it's only in one direction, so it's only on the x-axis. Now if you actually don't want to move it, like you think you've done a mistake or something, just right click and it should go back to the original position where it was. But I don't think you guys saw it over here because it didn't show up, but you might have been able to see it from the camera over there. Now I'm going to try to move this on the y-axis. So here we go, the green arrow is the y-axis. Damn, there's so many references over here. One direction, green arrow. Okay, got it back to its original position. You could have also just right clicked, but I'd actually pressed too late. Like if you've left the left click, then by clicking right, just by right clicking, it won't do anything. You'd have to move it like that. Now I'm gonna pull this again, left clicking on the blue arrow, which is the z-axis. It's gone up. Now I'm holding left click. I've not left. Oh man, this is so confusing. Left mouse button. Now I'm gonna right click, and well, it went down to its original position. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna delete this camera by right clicking on it and pressing delete. Now it's gonna ask you to say okay. Just hit OK. Now I'm going to delete this light point, but instead of pressing delete, I'm going to press X, which is another shortcut key. And that's it. You're done. Now, so we only have this cube, and this is like the basis of 3D modeling in Blender. So with this cube, you can make almost anything in this world. But not just with cube, they even have more stuff over here. You can, if you look at this, I don't know what this menu is called, but I just know that if you press T, it goes away. If you press T, it comes back. If you press N, this window comes here, this toolbar kind of thing comes here, and if you press N, it goes away. So here you can go create, and you can see more mesh over here. So you've got planes, you've got cubes, circles, sphere, UV sphere, icosphere. I'm so sorry, I'm moving the camera so much, my leg is getting in the way. Just a minute. All right, let me pull this up. Okay, so now I didn't realize my mouse was a little too almost out of the screen. So okay, now back to the thing. Yeah, as I was saying, you can create a lot of mesh by just clicking. So let's say you want to create a cylinder, it's created over here. Now you can just pull it up, put it on top like this, and do something but that, then create a monkey's head over here, pull it up on the Z-axis, move it a bit out on the Y-axis, and you've got some weird thing over here. Okay, but well, we don't want that. I'm not going to teach you the complex stuff of it, so I'm just going to go ahead with the cube. Now if you want to actually resize this cube, you'll have to press the S button, and now this is going to actually expand it in terms of both volume and area. So it's gonna like make an even expansion on all three axes. But what if you don't want that? What if you want to only expand it on one axis? So now that I've selected this, I have to deselect it. So but I can just right click to cancel it. Now I should press S, then press Y. So now I can expand it only on the Y axis. Okay, and right click to cancel that, press S and Z to expand it on the Z axis or the Z axis. Right click that again, press S and X to expand it or contract it in this case. Now expand it on the X axis only. Now right click. So well, that's how you expand it. Now this one more thing I should probably tell you guys this. You can see this orangish yellow spot over there, so that's called the origin. The origin is actually like can't exactly say a midpoint, but it's almost like the center of gravity of a body, if you understand that. So basically that's the center of any body or object that you've created in Blender, and maybe later on you might have to rearrange that to actually, like, if I would just probably increase this part, right, only this face over here, if I'll just make it bigger, then probably the center of gravity should change, and then you would have to probably realign or rearrange this origin somewhere over here. Okay, so now okay, as you see, as you just saw, I just left clicked, and this circular crosshair kind of a thing just changed its move place, so, or it just translated or something like that. So the way you can do that is by left clicking. So if I left click here, it's gonna move over here. If I left click here, it's gonna go move there. So this is called the 3D cursor. Okay, so if I just press Shift C, okay, if you press Shift C, the 3D cursor goes back to the origin, like over there, and the camera automatically zooms into it a bit. So now you might be wondering what this 3D cursor does. So the 3D cursor is almost like the point of axis of rotation or something, if I got that right. So basically your camera is going to rotate around that axis. So if I'll just go there, then just see, no, wait, press, no, say, yeah. It's supposed to rotate in that direction, but I don't exactly know what the 3D cursor does. But when I do, I would probably make a video about it. Okay, wait, okay, yeah, the pivot point. If it's the 3D cursor, god damn it, something just happened. So okay, just put it back to the origin. Now bring it out. So now another thing that, oh god damn it, the camera. Okay, another thing that you should probably know about camera movement is that if you press shift and the middle mouse button and then move your mouse like this by holding shift and middle mouse button, this thing happens. Like you can just move like this, up, down, left, right, and then you could probably get a better view of it, of your object, like different views basically. Okay, now what I mean, we were doing everything so far in object mode. So if we just go down to this drop down like menu, you can see that we were in object mode. There's an edit mode, a sculpt mode, a vertex paint, a weight paint, and a texture paint. So well, what does all this bullshit mean? Well, I'm just gonna explain what this bullshit means. So object mode is when you can only translate an object or attach materials and meshes to it. By translation, I mean moving it from place to place. Okay, oh, and another way that you can move objects is by pressing G, and then you can actually move it in free form. Now just right click that, and you can actually move it like your mouse is going to control it and stuff. Okay, anyways, now if you go to edit mode, you see everything is selected. Let me just deselect that and go down over here. So right now it's on vertex mode. So vertex mode just means that you can actually select a vertex by right clicking it, and you could probably move it like this. Okay, like wow, this looks so bad. But you can do stuff like that. Go down or bring it outwards like this, and do lots of fun stuff with that. Mess around with it. But basically, edit mode is where you can edit. You can do surface unwraps and stuff, which I'll teach you later, much later. You can do an edge select where, as you can see, those vertices were gone, and now just have to click on an edge like this, and you can pull out this entire edge, which is almost like pulling two vertices at once, but you can just do it faster with an edge. You know, if you have a more complicated object, then probably edge selection would be better than selecting all the vertices. Sorry. Now I have clicked on face select. Face select is just selecting the 4 vertices or the 4 edges of one particular face, and you can pull it out like that. But now, so as I was saying, you would have to probably in this case rearrange the center of gravity or center of mass or something like that. But the good practice would be to do it after you've done the entire character setup and stuff like that. Okay, so now what else can I say? Okay, so we've gone to vertex, edge, and face select. Now another thing, I would like to actually teach you a few shortcuts over here. So if you press tab, you go back into object mode, or not exactly object mode, but the previous mode that you were in. So if now I'm in edit mode, now if I go to texture paint mode and press tab, it takes me to edit mode. If I press tab again, it takes me to texture paint mode. Press tab, got that, yeah, tab. So this is quick if you, this is good if you want to quickly move from one tab mode to another instead of going here and clicking this. Okay, now another shortcut or hotkey that I would say might be useful is the Z. Press Z. Now this is actually wireframe mode. So wireframe mode just shows you the vertices and the edges of a particular object. Now you can also do this by going here and clicking on solid, which was the default view, but if you go here and click on wireframe, it shows you this. Now go to object, go to edit mode, and there is a wireframe mode too. And this is actually helpful when you are trying to see whether some things are actually touching each other without really, it's kind of complicated to just explain without an actual diagram or something like that. But I don't know how to explain this. When you aren't sure that two objects are actually touching, like let's say I have a cube over here and I want to join those two cubes, I wouldn't know whether they are actually touching each other or not. So okay, I'll just show you a quick example. Cube. Okay, so now I don't know if they're actually interlooping or not. So if I do this, you might not be exactly sure. So now if you go into your wireframe mode, deselect it, and see that I'd actually done a pretty good job. Okay, not really, but now you can see that some of it is not touching. It's still not touching. And then if the wires touch each other like this, you know that the object are actually joined. But that's not the best way to join an object. The best way is something else, which I'll teach you later. Now if you press X in or delete in edit mode, you can delete vertices, edges, faces, only edges and faces and stuff like that. But the best thing is probably to just delete all the vertices so that that cube does not exist anymore. Okay, now go back to edit mode. And alright, one more thing. We are in object mode. Screw that. Another thing I want to say, another shortcut actually, it's R. So R is for rotating an object in three-dimensional space, such as this. You see, it's rotating on all of its axes with that's utter confusion. Just look at it. God damn it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so anyways, now if you don't want to rotate it on all of the axes or on a three-dimensional world, all you have to do is press R and the axis on which you want to rotate it. So press X and rotate it only on the X-axis like this, or press Y and rotate it only on the Y-axis like this. Or even better, press R and Z and then rotate it like a stripper. Well, what am I saying? Just rotate it like how the earth rotates on its axis. Yeah, much better. Science. Okay, yeah, whatever. Moving on. So that, I think I've covered a lot, or most of what you'd need to know in this tutorial. And maybe in my next tutorial I will show you some more ways to, or actually I'll make something and show you guys the entire process, but probably in like faster, like 1.5 times faster or 2 times faster, something like that. But basically my next video on Blender would be how to actually create something that you want, like a gun, a character. A character would be too complicated, but maybe a gun or a table and chair or something like that. But that would be in the next video, tutorial, whatever. And well, till then, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys learned a lot about Blender. So before I leave, I should probably save this. So just go to File, click on Save, or just press Ctrl S. Save this. I'll save this as tutorial, and click on Save Blender File. Now it's saved. It's given over here that it's saved, and well, that's about it. So if you guys liked it, hit the like button. If you want to watch more of my Blender tutorials or more of my gameplays, just subscribe to this channel, Sqamemal. And once again, guys, thanks for watching.